EA themselves will have like pretty much everything in place anyways, but I thought might as well do it now, just gets it done and dusted. So if you're welcome to get your thoughts in as well, would be awesome. Just gives people an idea of like what we'd like, what we wouldn't like, and all that kind of stuff, because it's just a bit of fun. And I thought we're in that kind of window where feedback sometimes and now helps, especially if there's say little things that they can implement. And some of the little things I'm going to suggest I would quite think are feasible for the next edition. So news items, my messages. Best one for this is, say for example, with all the compensation we've had. So if you've been getting the packs and you've had not the wrong stuff, or when it's been team of the season, for example, when you had the player picks for like League One, when like we were all meant to get Variety or whatever, the free players that weren't there, your my messages should automatically say that to say, G is a legend, you've been given compensation. Yes, we get the pop up in the game if it says, oh, you were missing content. Having it in my messages as well just kind of reinforces it. It just gives this then an actual use. That's kind of the way I would look at it. Obviously, game updates, I assume this should really be using that for when we get the updates in the game as well. Saying that like, oh, this is what was updated, should be in here as well. Item releases, they're not using it just now, but obviously for every promo it would just help. Just keeps that kind of an actual use. Tutorials and competition news I can understand, like FGS and how we explain chemistry. You know what I would actually do with the tutorials as well, and this is an important one I would say as well, and this is when anyone that is either a pro trader, SBC person, a pro player, or even just menu stuff, or the chem, or even any of the graphics people, actually there's a lot you can do with tutorials. Basically have every set, like give, so say Run the Foot Market, we'll just say him for example, say he's been asked by EA, can you do a quick video explaining the, say, Team of the Week 1, what players would you recommend buying, not buying, and so forth. Little things like that. You get people from the community actually doing this content. That way then the tutorials, it just gives a little bit of credence and a little bit more, not just use, but it then just shows that EA are actually implementing more of the community to get actually involved. And then say, like, maybe, but the best way about it is you could maybe do it every day, or like for each week. So like Wednesday would be, you might have, say Monday could be Team of the Week predictions. So you might get, say, myself or Kieran or anyone else that does the predictions, maybe say in there that week, just to kind of explain what Team of the Week is and predictions and stuff. You might even follow that into the item releases as well. Obviously the pro players, they might, or the people that do chemistry stuff, you say, right, here's how you do, how to explain the chemistry system, a lot of things like that. And then it just makes it feel more worthwhile, I feel, really, in essence, but that's just my personal opinion. Objectives, for me, they're generally fine, but I'm glad we've got, the reason why I'm glad I'm doing it this week is because obviously during Team of the Season we saw quite consistently a bit of impetus toward objectives. Like Craft of Glory was great, and we've got it again here with Shapeshifters crafting upgrade. What I would even go to the extent of doing, and it's for if it's where it be for every promo or specific promos, if I'm actually honest, the best promos to do this kind of crafting upgrade is for stuff like Road to Knockout, Road to the Final, anything where you want to give a bit of love to the smaller teams. So say for 10 completions, we'll say for Road to the Knockout promo, you might get, say, oh, for 10 completions you get a player from, say, Feyenoord, we'll say Gertruder or Hansko or Bailau, someone like that. 15 completions might get you a player from the Conference League or the Europa League, like whoever's in it. Say Brighton, we'll just say a Brighton player, say a Pascal Gross for example. 20 completions might get you someone that's in, like, basically, but you maybe even go less than 10, you might go 5, 10, 15, you might go every 5. Then that way every team in those the 5 increments is getting a bit of love, and then say for 50 completions, which if I'm actually honest, I'd probably say you could go to 100. Make people actually want to grind this out for 100, and the reason why I'm saying grind out for 100 is because by the time you've basically got to say 100, you'll have had about 10 to 20 teams that you could do, but your group reward for doing it could be, say, a player that's worthwhile unlocking. You might say Rodrigo from Real Madrid, you might say a 90 rated Rodrigo, for example, or an 89, whatever it may be. Make it like a really, at that stage of the game for like Road to the Knockouts, whenever you decide to release it, it's worth unlocking. Same for, say, Road to the Final, and so forth. You literally could go to town with this and have a bit of fun, and that's what it comes down to, is just trying to have a bit of fun. I'm fine with the FUT Champion stuff. I wouldn't digress about them, because it's easy enough to get and it's a lot of effort. Like, things like these are fine throughout the year, like it encourages us. My only criticism really is the full like league things, like a full like 18-man squad I think of like Serie A players. It can be a bit daunting for some if they're trying to do it. Yes, it's 4 games, but each their own, of course. I'm fine with like the individual things that like you get throughout the year, whether it be British Red Cross, EFL, Cinch, whatever it may be that's bringing things together. Objective players, I just wish some of them were actually a little bit more in line with the power curve in general. So like Mitrovic is like good rating wise, but he's one of those cards that's not necessarily going to break people's teams, as it were. Like, you're not going to start him, like, which is a bit of a shame, and I feel that's what they need to do. And talking of like that, like the squad foundation players, I wish they'd kind of give them a bit more love throughout the year as well. Like, these are fine if they stick to them, or if they go like week 1, 2, 3 and whatnot. Silver Stars is fine. I'd like them to do stuff for bronzes as well. Give bronzes a bit of love. Like, my only thing with Silver Stars is wish we actually had a proper, instead of not just a silver cup, but actually something where for like the silvers, and I've suggested it before, like the silver for like a real grindable bit of time for like silvers, is putting milestones so it's there for the entire year, if you want to say, but you'd recycle it maybe say a few times a year, because you're not going to grind through say the amount of games. You'd basically give every league a silver star with like a boosted silver featured player, as it were. So say for example Shin Jin Ho is say a rule breakers maybe, so say your first block could be a season, if that's what you want to do it by. So it's maybe say the 40 or 50 days. You've got 50 days to unlock say a rule breaker Shin Jin Ho. Season 2 same applies. It could be say Road to the Final, whoever's maybe a silver card that's kicking about, for example. You might say Reefer from Feyenoord, for example, say they get through the group stages or finish third, so you've got that as a Europa League card. A lot of things like that. Or a silver team of the year player, for example. A lot of things like that. Say if there's been a silver player that's really performed this FIFA, yet they've maybe got like say an inform, but giving them a silver team of the year would just be a bit of fun. Silver Beast is fine. Most milestone stuff's generally fine. I just wish it actually had a bit more like, not just more, it's probably, in fact that's a lie, it's actually more. Like, instead of just force, it's like play 25 and then win 100. Why not just give us more stuff? Like, because there's people that just blitz through draft, like 100 draft match, win 100 draft matches, and they've done it in like the first month of the game. And same for a lot of this stuff. People will grind it out in pretty much like the first month or so. Give people, like, I'd rather just say, right, make it 1,000 co-op, make everything be 1,000. Like, literally just go to town with it. Just say, right, That way then they've got longevity for the entire year. That way people can do, say, squad battles, foot champs, whatever it may be, but then make like a thousand, especially with foot champs. If you're playing that every week, and you've got to factor in that you've got playoffs and foot champs finals games, so you're basically maybe playing 30 games a week for a weekend, basically, say, and you're doing that like 30 weeks. Like in this case, you'd be struggling for 1,000, but you'd maybe want to give people something for, say, 500 or whatever. Give people something where it feels worthwhile grinding, as it were. Like Silver Cup and, like, say, a Bronze Cup as well. Like, it doesn't have to always just be silver stuff. Why not do Bronze and Gold Cup? Go back like the days of old that we used to have back in like FIFA's 11, 12, 13, 14. Those were great days, as it were, for doing the cups. Even though the coin rewards were quite awful, but when they started to throw in certain packs and certain players, it actually proved quite fun. Let's say Squad Foundations, if I'm honest, I'd rather just have everything just be a player rather than packs. So if it's 5 players, I'd be delighted. Same for like this, I'd rather just have like half a dozen players. When it's Squad Foundations though is what I'm getting at. If it's an objective, I'd say packs. If it's Squad Foundations, and yes, this is your group reward, but I'd rather have more players involved for the CONMEBOL stuff, for example, or EFL Championship or Liga NOS, whatever it may be, MLS. I'd rather just have more of those Squad Foundation cards, just to have a bit of fun, and it just gives that league, in essence, you're trying to then give, what you would end up trying to do is you'd have 5 players, say, there, you'd have another 6 there, so you'd try to give like a full team as a promo, as it were, from Squad Foundations. So that way every player, every position's covered, so that people can say, oh, I've now got a full Squad Foundation squad of Liga NOS or CONMEBOL Libertadores or Sudamericana or whatever. It just gives a bit of fun, really. Stadium customization and all these kind of things, they're fine, but as I say, it goes back to the earlier point. Like 300 live foot friendlies, as I said, there's a few folk I know could put 1,000 games in. I did a couple of FIFAs ago, I was like 1,500 wins or something for live foot friendlies. So it can be done. It's a bit overkill, but that's simply because I was doing everything from Silver Cup and like silver stuff to silver stars to whatever objective players that was there and just turning them out. So it's like, it can be done, but it's a bit of a slog. Foundations, I just wish there was a bit more added to it, but not much more. Like, it's, you know, it's bad when I don't play Mystery Ball or Squad Foundations, Foundations 2 SBC group, but it is what it is. Transfers, we all know that we hate the little buggy resets that you sometimes get, so I'll just do this as an example if it lets me what I was going to do. So as you see there, or have they fixed this now? They probably have. Yes, they have. Basically, it was a fault where if you were searching for a specific card and it had like a reset, it was just so annoying. And you know it's bad when you're seeing CONMEBOL cards feature here. Like, this is why it's handy when you can search by card type and whatnot. Just makes your job a little bit easier, but at the same time you roughly know that in terms of like every promo, you can be specific, saying, oh, I want that card or I want that card. What I would actually do for this as well, because we can't search for end of an era, FGS, flashback players, swap tokens, red tots, showdowns, what else can we not search for? Special item, like anything that you can't actually search for shouldn't actually pop up here. Kind of just tidy it up, really, just a cosmetic change. Even the World Cup stars you can't search for, so it's like, why have it? So it's little things like that. It just tidy up what we're able to search. Yes, you can then go as you please, but it's a lot of things like that. In terms of like transfer list stuff, just wish we had more than 100 slots really, but that's why we kind of use the unassigned pile. I would also kind of say the it's just a lot of things, like because I've got a lot of loans and I'm value high to low. It's just a bit like I wish the loans had their own dedicated section. Like I don't want to be seeing loans after loans after loans. I'd love to just be like, right, I don't want to be having to look for a loan card. I just want to be saying, right, I've got I can just filter through as need be, as it were. Just make it as easy as possible for myself, so I know what I'm looking for, and it just makes things. I don't want to be like the 9th page and I'm suddenly like Forlan. I want to be like the loans, like say the very last page, but it's maybe where quality maybe filters in. So any bronze. So like, does it maybe fall under the quality? Does it then filter under advanced filter, so that it gets added as so obviously untradables, no filter untradeable items. You maybe see a separate filter, so it's loan or no loans, as it were. Like you just kind of filter as you need. That's the way it should be. Make it user friendly as possible. Transfer targets is fine as well. There's nothing really ever fundamentally wrong with it. It's how it goes. Like with these kind of news items here with premium chemistry, you know what would be ideal? Having that in tutorial. Yes, it's a visual guide, but having it explained as a short video, where it be someone from EA or a YouTuber. If EA have maybe said to the YouTuber, say Bateson or whoever, Matt HD or myself or whoever it may be, you'll actually get them explain the chemistry system, as long as the person themselves can understand the chemistry system, because it can be a bit overwhelming for some, especially if you've got premium chemistry being explained here. SPCs, where do we start? Simple part is prime bronze and prime silver upgrades. I'd like a gold version, like the prime gold. Like what I would actually do is, and this is when like the bronze, silver and gold upgrades I feel are outdated. What I would be doing is having a prime, keep the prime bronze, prime silver and a prime gold, and just have that there throughout the year. None of this expires in 30 days or whatever. Have it there for the whole FIFA. It gives people then reason to grind out like the 11 bronzes all the time or whatever, because they might say, oh, I can get I can do BPM and I can try and pack silver informs or whatever it may be, or as a promo card, and I'll try and get that card in these packs. It gets a bit of fun, as it were. Obviously it might happen say next FIFA, but at the same time people might feel it's trying to grind, and people then, as you say, you spend money to get coins, but then you're spending, say you might end up spending FIFA points to get more packs on top of it, so you never know. League SBCs, we all know about them. We wish mixed leagues and premium mixed leagues actually were to go back to what they were in FIFA 17 and FIFA 18. I would rather just have every team, instead of like even where it be a pack, maybe even a player for each one. So a League SBC player for every league, so a team. So for example, if it's Serie A, you've completed the solo, you get a Defrel or a Fratese League SBC card, and say because it's repeatable, you try and have make it. This is when you be sensible. You try and encourage more options. So you maybe say one of four. So you maybe have a goalie, a defender, a mid, and a forward. Yes, then you're churning it out left, right, and centre. But you're able, or one of five. you then at least giving people the reason to kind of do the league SBCs. Yes, they're going to spend a fortune trying to maybe get, say if it's Man City and it's Walker, Alvarez, Ake, Ortega, and say Stones or whatever, or Calvin Phillips. But like individual teams, yes, they'll be expensive like the old days, but it's, you try and be sensible with the requirements as well to at least make people kind of justify doing it and have that repeatable grind, as it were. Obviously, it's been different, but then you've got to remember, if EA is trying to make billions more, as it were, if people know that, oh, they've got to spend money to get, if you're getting packs from all the other options, if you've got players to just get as your reward, then you say to yourself, well, you've got to be sensible about your how you get rid of players, because you can't then just suddenly say, oh, I'm going to throw in, I'm going to discard players. Why would you discard players? But at the same time, you want to maybe say every season is refresh the players, so that, say, season 1 or season 2, depending when you first do it, that the players aren't behind the curve each season. Try and keep them relatively in line, as it were. Like promo SBCs like the AIM are fine, there's nothing wrong with them. Player SBCs the same. I would just wish, and I'm surprised we've still not had it, especially throughout the year, where it be not necessarily like what I would do with Showdown, for example, is have them every week, like, or every 2 weeks, depending on how many, like what big games are available. Just if it's Prem or Scotland or Eredivisie or Portugal or Turkey, there's always going to be a big game somewhere in the world once a week. So you might as well at least just give that league a bit of attention. And especially when it was shown when it was Kleiber and that, for like when it was Ajax and PSV, if people are tuning in more to those games, it pushes out a higher interest in people wanting to be interested in that league, because they might say, oh, you've got fun, we'll just say Celtic and Rangers, it might be Hagi and Kyogo, for example. You'd be like, oh, that Kyogo card's like 88 rated just now, but if the one he goes to 90, oh my god, he actually could be like, just say 4-4 or 5-5 or whatever, and Hagi could be whatever, he could be 5-5, and like for a off league he suddenly could be like a fun, not just a fun super sub, but someone you could start, for example. But it just depends on how you go about it. It's implementation. And I suppose you would just say to the content team, you say, right, we're going to sit down, look at the fixtures for the season, pick a game every week, but try and be different. So it's like, say, week 1 could be Prem, week 2 Serie A, week 3 is Ligue 1, week 4 is Portugal, week 5 is Scotland, and so forth and so forth. But you try and say the Prem game, you don't say week 1 and week 9, for example, or week 1 and week 5 or whatever. You try and give it a sizable gap, but you try and make sure every other league gets a bit of attention. Or you do more than one showdown a week, but at the same time I'd rather just do one a week, unless you put one as an SBC and one as an objective, for example. It depends. Player pick type SBCs, these kind of things, they're fine. I just wish the requirements were, whether it be the 81, 82, 83, whatever ones it may be, I just kind of wish they were more aesthetically pleasing for grinding. Like 3 rares, I'd rather it just be commons. Just stick it to player quality exactly gold. Just keep it, even if it's 7. Like, give people, like, they're expensive enough to do when you throw in the 3 rares, because it's 2,000 and then we'll say another 1,000, 1,500 basically for, so you're spending like 3.5k. If it's basically 2k, 2 to 2.5k, the little bits of savings here or there make all the difference, and especially if you potentially really throw the player back in anyway. So if you've done 50 of them, and say you're going to throw 10 back in, so you've basically, like what's the point? It's like, give people a reason to kind of justify the grinding, as it were. But at the same time, do you maybe put an objective for that, to say, oh, you want to grind that 50 times or 100 times or whatever, here's like a reward, like pack rewards or player rewards just for doing it. SBCs like Firmino, Busquets, I just feel like my criticism, like Firmino's criticism, should be 5-5, should be 95 rated, should be what his road to the final would have been, in my opinion. That's what I would have done with this card. And then in reality even, sorry, it would only be what, like an extra, you'd have like 90 passing, 5-5, bit more physical, bit more pace, maybe a bit more shooting or whatever. You'd maybe have like, just say +2s across the board and one extra weak foot. Like, what's the problem? Especially when, if you're trying to give people a reason to grind out the cards and also get them justified in their team, especially if this is meant to be their last card for Liverpool. Busquets is fine. I think the criticism with Busquets was when you had Rodri and other options there, it's how do you make it stand out. Senzio just felt a bit underwhelming, especially when his stories was like 89, so it's only a +2 overall. Like, with a plus 93, 94 really hurt, and you could have gave like say +3 to +5 extra stats on say shooting, passing, physical, and so forth. Like the loans for players, whether it be icons or heroes, like Marquisio for example, like I've still never even looked into this one. Like an 83 rated for this card is quite steep for 5 games. Like 5 games for an 83 rated squad, like really? Like, yes, for the icons just now that we've been getting, they're adding them in, which is a bit naughty. Like, it should be separate. Like, I couldn't justify an 83 rated squad for a 5 game loan. I'd rather just have the card outright. Position modifier upgrade, things like that are fine. I'd actually even go to the extent where if they were to give us like other kind of like maybe other SBCs that give us maybe options. Like, I know people spoke about like managers, SBCs, like an icon manager, maybe even something like that would be quite fun. Could you imagine like Ferguson or Pep or whatever it may be? There's like so much you can do with this. Like marquee matchups is fine. I just wish the pack return was a little bit better. Player of the months, I just wish we had more of them, and the upgrade system renewed. What I liked about these ones is that they're 4, like most of them are like 4 upgrades generally. Like Nicholas Jackson was actually more than 4. He was like half a dozen because he's like 70, 72 rated. So he's basically going from that to an 89. So you've the upgrade system, because it's 72, would go like 79, 82, 84, 86, 87, 88, 89. So it's like half a dozen upgrades. What if, say, in the start of the game, if it's say Premier League Player of the Month and it was Trent, and say Trent's an 85 base card, you make him 89 for his Player of the Month as long as he's not got an special. If he's got a special already, if it's an inform, it's 86, you'd maybe say a 90 rated Player of the Month. So that way, if he gets any other Team of the Weeks, there's a bit of, they're still low rated, but the Player of the Month is the real standout card. And it's to also kind of shy away from giving them like a promo card, say for like Rule Breakers or whatever, or Centurions, whatever it may be. You want that Player of the Month card to have a bit of real longevity about it. And like with these as well, I realised I should say, because like Scottish Premier League, I think the Irish League, MLS, I think there's like half a dozen other leagues have something with some sort of agreement with EA. Why not do all these leagues then? So if you've got like 10 leagues for Player of the Month, just have a bit of fun. Let's just go to town with it. Like, that's what they should be trying to do. These are fine. Just wish there was more. Same for basic and advanced. That's all they need. Just give us more. Back in the day when we used to have it, FIFA 18 we had nations. So like when it was like the World Cup, something like that. You just literally, even if it's slotted in advance, there's a separate slot. Oh, you want to do nations. So you'd maybe do for each continent, or you have a separate subsection for nations. So you'd have Asia, North America, South America, Europe, Oceania, Africa, and you'd be basically sorted. You have a bit of fun with it, gives everyone a card from that nation for doing it, and then say like a 1 of 5, say like 5 feature stars from that continent. So you might, depending on who you got, so say with Europe, say the Belgian player was, say, Hazard, Eden Hazard, say the featured card could be Courtois. So you could be Courtois for Belgium, France could be Griezmann, Italy could be Barella, Germany could be Royce, and Netherlands could be, or England could be Kane, for example. It's a lot of things like that would just make it feel a bit worthwhile. Icons, just more really. I just feel like, and also the ones that we get just feel like a bit lacking. Like, what the biggest criticism I know for a lot of us had was which versions we got. So if the players have a better version, so like Ronaldinho for example, for 23 squads, I'd rather have that be his Team of the Year icon version, because if it was, I'd have grinded it by now. I don't want his prime. Like, yes, his prime's nice, but if he's got a Team of the Year icon version, I'd rather have that. That's what I'd rather. Same with Roberto Carlos, I'd rather have his Trophy Titans. Xavi Hernandez, Xavi's got a Trophy Titans, I'd rather grind for that. Puskas is fine enough because he's like he's 5-5, 4-star, 5-star, sorry. But it's a lot of things like that. I'd rather have the best version. Like this Kaká card, when I heard that it was going to be Kaká, I was like, maybe potential, but it's like +1s. It's like make the card unique. That's why I ended up doing Zambrotta, because Zambrotta's just a bit fun. I'll maybe do Kaká still in the end, because I always like Kaká cards, but I'm not going to stress myself out for it. Swaps, obviously we have a lot of swaps throughout the year, but obviously these ones a lot of people forget, like the FGS ones. Basically, I would say instead of just 1, 2, 3 and 4, yes, for 4 tokens is 100k pack, which is great by the way, I can't fault it. What they should do is, as an alternative for 1 to 4, but also for more swap tokens, because we get a lot throughout the year. I think it's usually like 20 to 30 tokens we get about throughout the year, because it's like every competition. What they should do is make every single one, so if there's say 30 tokens, really go to town, say, oh, you've went that effort to collect 30 tokens, here's a 30 times, say 30th token you're maybe not getting till say now or July or whenever, so we'll just say now, just for simple sake. So you've grinded them all throughout the year, make it say a 30 times 90 rated pack, something really crazy or something really worthwhile for 30 tokens. Like, you can have so many different options to this. So like, yes, a premium gold pack, and like these packs are not like the worst, but at the same time give people alternatives so that there's packs and players to kind of go for. So if you've got FGS players, then you say, oh, if for these 10 tokens you can get say an FGS Mbappe or an FGS Gerd Muller or whoever it may be, something that's, depending on what the FGSs are for, you might even, or say not just for watching it, say like back in the day we used to get live rewards, but what you could also do is have like specific cards, say the winner. So say with the VBL, the player whoever won it, so say like could it Eintracht Frankfurt, you might say, oh, I want a special Götze card. Oh, would it be in the swaps as like for giving up the say the tokens for it, or you make it an SBC to unlock little things like that. That way that every FGS event, it gives people an idea to say, oh, that like EPL. Tex has won it for Liverpool. Does he want a? What card does he want? Does he want Robbo, Salah, whoever? Jota, Nunes, whatever it may be, it literally gives these tournaments a little bit more of like a bit more love, really. But store stuff, like for me personally, like we all know for packs, like I think classic packs we just wish we had the old ones back. So like standard bronze packs, standard silver packs, standard gold packs like the 5k ones. Like I'd rather just have them than like, I don't mind a preview pack, but I'm not stressing out for them. Promo packs are just relentless. I just wish they would stop being relentless. That's like no matter who you are, it's just like we shouldn't be like this pack alone, the 15k one, is the most unworthwhile pack in FIFA. Like the 10 coin packs were great fun, but yeah, I'd like. It's why I won't spend money on this game. I'd rather just play and trade to my heart's content. From there we move into different modes. So moments, obviously we'll jump first co-op. We'll want to do co-op champs, that'd be fun. But also actually having it for cross console as well. So I think friendlies is the only console you can do it for. Like co-op friendlies or whatever. But or whatever. But I'd like to play people that are on PlayStation. It just makes, doesn't have to just like, but at the same time, if they're on old gen, then I'd understand it, or the new gen or whatever. Make it, if it's going to be like generation specific, then I understand that. That's what it's going to come down to as well. Moments, wish it got a bit more attention and love. Namely, start off with the star gallery. So just now, obviously you get like a welcome pack, and then you get all these kind of options. Yes, there are more packs. The problem is they've been like these for about the last 2 or 3 seasons, and even the ones before then were about the same that we've had since first season. So it's like no variety. Like some players would be nice. Yes, we got the odd player to unlock from swaps in them, but it's just not arduous, but it's just give more variety. And like the thing is as well, you get 50, like you get about 60 stars here. 50, it's like 55, 57, 59, 61, 63, 65, yeah, 65. So you've got like 65 about 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 95, like 100. Like yes, you're maybe getting these, maybe say initially, but would it really hurt to give us even more? Especially when you go back, like, yes, you only get that once, but this 5 times. The problem is you're not someone that's really going to have 175 stars for this, like at this stage of the game, because you'll have spent them throughout the year. If you're going to give this option, then reset these or give us even more. Like it wouldn't exactly hurt, like having like more of them, but then for every promo having just even more and more and more. It's just like they've done Ted Lasso stuff, but they've not done like the players for like AFC Richmond. I think you can check their ratings and that, but that's about as good as it gets. Like if you were going to do something with the game, then at least give those players, as it were, just have a bit of fun. And if when you're having to use like these players, yes, you're getting a loan, but I would also say for certain ones, so like Robin van Persie for example, I wouldn't mind spending 150 stars to get him. Yes, it's maybe impacts the market price, but if there's certain cards that you can unlock for the amount of stars, then I'd want to make the grind worth the hassle, as it were. Squad battles, like just seeing leaderboard would be nice again. Obviously rank 1 to 200 is just any fixed. So So you obviously get 1 of 5 for top 200, but then as it all goes through, you're pretty much, what like with it just now is elite gets you a guaranteed rating, whereas from gold 1 and below is max 90, which is a bit kind of naughty. Obviously, like silver 3 and below is just like loan packs, which what they should do is, and this is when it makes squad battles even more worth playing, is throughout the year add like a team of the week pack, so like a red pick, so it's another red pack, or a promo pack, so if it's road to the final, road to knockout, rule breakers, whatever it may be. Obviously not team of the year, because that's people may grind this out a bit much, or what you do is you could include team of the year, but you've got to make it only people that achieve elite 3 or better can get that team of the year pack. So then the top 10% is the only ones that will get it. So make it a bit more exclusive, but it's see who. Then it also shows you who's actually playing the mode. If it's say during team of the year, or you've got a chance of an elite, a team of the year pack, 1 rare Electrum and 5,000 coins, just say, then it gets interesting, because you're like, oh, that team of the year pack, obviously if it's untradeable, then it's just that bit of grinding and a bit of effort. It's just a lot of things to make it a bit more usable. Rivals, nothing really. I'm never really fussed for rivals or whatever, because but in terms of the mode itself, I suppose it does the job. I just kind of wish, I think for me personally, I wish they gave more milestone rewards, like, so for like this season, like for 20 matches, yes, you only get 1 pack, 50 is that pack and 90 is that for 100k. Why not do more tiers but more packs in general on top, so make it like worth that 90 games, like, because you see yourself, I would say to myself, for 90 games for just 1 extra pack, it doesn't really feel worth it. Obviously if you're half decent at the game, then like Division 2 for example, yes, you're getting a 1 of 4 red pick, you're getting a 100k pack, a 50k pack and a 45k pack. Yes, you're basically getting 200k worth of packs, well 195k plus a red pick, but at the same time you say, you think, is it worth the 90 game grind? That's the thing. Especially when for 40 games more you're only getting 250k packs, so it's a bit of a jump for like your effort. Obviously if you're an elite, it's saying to yourself, for 90 games you're only getting 2 100k packs of 45 and 1 of 5. It then makes you think to yourself, is this really worth being in that division, an elite division, for what I'm getting, when like a couple of divisions below might be getting, like, looking at it, Div 2 actually gets the best rewards, which is baffling. So you see yourself, you'd rather be in Division 2 for its rewards, because Division 3 is near enough, in fact you can near enough get the same from Division 3 and 2 and 3, or even Division 4 is not too bad, because it's 160k worth of packs. Division 5, yeah, so you basically 145, so you basically want to be Division 4, 3 and 2 more than like 1 in elite. So it's kind of like, you've got to make it more consistent and worth the effort for the grind. Foot champs, obviously we've still yet to touch for a few weeks, because we're not overly fussed. I would just say, I just wish like these picks, like 1 or 2 84 rare gold players, were actually better. It shouldn't be 1 of 2, it should be 1 of 5. And even then, like, when you think of how many players are 84 plus, most of the stuff you're going to pack anyway is sadly going to be rubbish. Like the eFigs in this stage of the game, but obviously when it comes to the next FIFA, like if you get guaranteed 11 wins, then you should get a guaranteed rate, so it should be like one of 384 plus or 83 plus, whatever it may be. Make it feel worth the effort of grinding champs, but it would be one of 5 more than anything at that stage. Start the game. Same for here. It should be like, then you maybe at the start of the game you don't mind, but when it's like your red picks, you'd rather say 1 of 5. It's 84, and as I said, when you get to maybe say rank 3 could be say 85. And then say rank 1 and rank 2 could be 86 plus. Make it, but obviously depending on what the team of the week is at that stage as well, or you just make it all team of the weeks to kind of juice up at the start. So even though you might have got someone the week before, you might say Berardi 86 one week, it pops up the following week, even though you had the 86. Like a base version of them the week before or whatever. There's ways around it, and there's easy ways to explain it and write it down so visually people can make sense of it. Friendlies, we're getting there slowly but surely. Like Couch Play Friend is fine, as I say, it's just co-op stuff. Just wish it's more, if we're going to get like objective players, like Managerial Masterpiece has been kind of redundant for weeks unless you're doing a Road to Glory and you're still doing the Connable stuff. I just feel like even throughout the stage of the game, if you're going to give Managerial Masterpiece and you've got the Squad Foundations, just keep it there for the rest of the game, but churn out the Squad Foundation. That's all I would ask for. And as I said, bronze and a silver version, like so a bronze cup and a gold cup in here as well would just be a bit of fun. That way. And also you're trying to unlock special bronze cards and special gold cards. Give people like more options, and it allows people to then say, oh, I want to do that, like, or not that. Like, yes, you've got to watch out for burnout, but at the same time you've just got to be savvy with how you go about it. Draft, just to talk about them, it's just really better packs for offline and online, really. That's all it is. That's pretty much really the main crux of draft. That's why I always do offline draft. Sword Stadium, player stats, leaderboard, all these kind of things. I would probably just say there's nothing, it's just more cosmetic stuff, like minor stuff that's really needed at like the stage, because obviously they kind of just do minor changes as the year goes. Like for the stadium, like I'm not really fussed how it looks and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why I have that. Big badge thing, cause I'm never really fussed for it. I'll maybe remove it over here. But it's like, yes, little things like these are nice, but at the same time I'm not fussed. I couldn't care less about the no tifos and all that kind of stuff, because I'm like, I don't really care. Like for some it's like nice to have the cosmetic element and just have a bit of fun and dress up your stadium, but everyone's to their own on how you want to approach it, and I can understand that. Like, I think last FIFA I was a bit more happy to do it, but this FIFA a little less so. I just have a stadium and just get on with it and take it from there. But obviously everyone to their own. Player stats, if I'm honest, what I would do for this, and this is what I would like, it's hard but it's probably easy at the same time to do it, is you would have for offline and online. So because of like Mbappe's record is like 647 games, it would be good to know what were actually offline, so like say squad battles, but also then what was online in terms of friendlies, but then also what was FUT Champs and Rivals. That way people can then say, if the card is really actually doing the job whatsoever. Like, what I would also even say, just as an extra addition, it used to be back in the day we used to have when you acquired it, little things like that. But having that back in would just be neat. Like, even if it's in player details or the player bio, I don't mind. But I would even say having an extra tab for like these cards. So player of the month, you would just have how we earned the cards. So player of the month, Kylian Mbappe scored 5 goals in the month against Monaco, Lyon, Marseille, and whatever. Little things like that, just to kind of make the card stand out a bit more. But obviously, Rivaldo doesn't have an icon profile, which is a bit baffling still, even at this stage of the game. Right, if I go through any of these, let me go to the squad just quickly. I don't think, like, I think Barese's, yeah, Baresi has it on his trophy. Yeah, so it's like Barese's got it for his trophy Titans, but Rivaldo doesn't. So it's little things like this would be neat. Like it's just more consistency for like the players. So if they've earned it for the team of the season, that's what watch just a little bit of in depth of why they got a team of the season card. If they've been given a moments or a team of the year or a flashback, yes, we get a little bit of context with an SBC. It might say Erna flashback Havertz based around whatever, but actually having it in his profile, like a little player profile, why he's earned it, then it just makes it a little bit more fun and a little bit more personal to like why they've been given it. And it's just little things like this would go a long way. Like Upamecano, like why is he a cam? Like why can he play centre mid, cam, centre forward? Was it in his youth career? Was it when he's maybe first breaking through? Did he maybe play CDM or centre mid or whatever? Little things like that. It would just help a ton. Like yes, for Foot Fantasy, Sanchez and all the Foot Fantasies were given this. That's fine. I would even go to the point where you maybe even add extra in this to say, right, Alexis Sanchez, right, you'd maybe put the games in, so you'd maybe have visually say, here's the 6 games that it applies to. Because it says makes 3 appearances in the next 6 games in the second league, but it does say domestic league matches, people might forget, oh, they're in Europe, but it doesn't count to that. So having, say, they're playing Marseille are playing Lyon, Monaco, PSG, Auxerre, Lens and Lorient, just say for talking sakes. So you say that's the 6 games, and you update. Yes, it means maybe the graphics folk, we're all like myself when I do graphics, it hampered us a little bit, but in reality I would then just use that screen to maybe like if you're beating EA to the punch, as it were, at least visually you've still got something to sort. Same with the road to the final, little things like that. So it allows people to understand where the card is at the current moment in time, as it were. It just makes it easy, as it were. That's all it comes down to. Like, it's making it easy, but also adding more visual, accessible stuff, just to kind of give people an understanding why this card's been given a team this season, why he's been given a shapeshifter, why is he a moments, why is he a flashback, why is he a player of the month, why is he a rule breakers, all that kind of stuff. And if just a little bit of extra info just goes a long way. But as I said, folks, let me know thoughts and feedback on that one. As I said, a very long video. As I said, initially I thought it'd be a little bit shorter, but I thought put the time in and really go to town with all of this, because menu wise you can spend ages. Like, I'm a menu person more really these days. Like pretty much all my games is literally squad battles, and that's been since team of the year, like World Cup team of the year stuff. I'd rather be I want to be justifying playing rivals. I want to justify playing champs and all that kind of stuff. I want to be I want to play the game more, but I want a reason to play it more. That's what I feel EA need to kind of do, and it's why a lot of people do like RTGs at this time of the year, because they can literally build the same kind of team. Like, say this team in front of you, they can do it in like a few weeks. They can pretty much start at team of the season, have basically the same team that you've maybe spent the entire FIFA doing, and then you get annoyed because you're like, oh my god, Jimmy's got a better team than me, Timmy's better team than me, he's only been playing 2 weeks, I've been playing 6 months. It's like, what's the point? So yeah, it is what it is. Take it from there and have a bit of fun into the bargain. Well, let me know, folks, what you'd like added for the next EA Sports football FIFA installment. As I said, a very long one. As I said, I'm intrigued to see how it all shapes up. But have a good one, folks. Take it easy, all. As I said, I might try and structure it so it's like different, well, like, you know, where each section is. But even then, I've kind of flowed it the way I have for that reason. So have a good one. Take it easy, all. Thanks for listening. Smash likes, sub to channel and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll speak to you all later.